It's lovely to be here with you to celebrate the 2024 recipients of the Prime Minister's Prizes for Science. I ask you please to place your phones on silent if you haven't already done so, but I do encourage you to take photos and celebrate the award recipients on social media. The hashtag is PMP Prizes Breakfast. This breakfast is a special annual event that the Academy is proud to hold each year to celebrate remarkable and distinguished Australian scientists. And this year, as the Prime Minister's Prizes celebrate 25 years, we're proud to be celebrating the Academy's 70th anniversary. Since the award's inception, many fellows of the Academy have been recipients of Australia's prestigious awards for achievements in scientific research, research-based innovation and science teaching. And I'm proud to be one of those recipients. It is 7 years on from when I was sitting in this theatre, the morning after receiving my Prime Minister's Prize. What an honour it was, and what an honour to be here today to celebrate those who continue to inspire us and undertake remarkable science to improve this world. Thank you all for joining us. I would like to offer a warm welcome to all prize recipients, the Honourable Ed Husic, MP, Minister for Industry and Science, the Honourable Melissa Price, MP, for representing the Leader of the Opposition, Alison Burns, MP, Zanita Mascarenhas, MP, ambassadors and embassy representatives, colleagues from across the Department of Industry, Science and Resources, presidents and CEOs of Australia's learned academies, fellows in the Academy of Science and other learned academies, representatives from peak bodies and industry, representatives from the Science and Maths Teachers Associations and the ACT Education Directorate, EMCRs, staff of the Academy, friends and colleagues from across the research and innovation enterprise, and our audience joining us online. Welcome. On behalf of the Academy, I'd like to offer thanks to the Department of Industry, Science and Resources for their hard work to bring together a wonderful evening last night and for their support of our breakfast today. Australian scientists are leading so many important conversations across our communities, and it's a privilege to be able to recognise their contributions here this morning. Now, please join me in welcoming to the podium a person who continues to inspire me immensely, a recognised expert in semiconductors and nanotechnology, and the President of the Australian Academy of Science, Professor Chennapati Jagadish.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Jenny. Good morning and welcome to the Australian Academy of Science. We're delighted to host you here today. I also would like to pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet, Ngunnawal people, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. And I also would like to acknowledge the Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people, those who are participating in this morning's breakfast. And I particularly would like to acknowledge Academy Fellow Professor Tom Kalma, who is also with us this morning. Thank you, Tom, for joining us. A particularly warm welcome to all the recipients of the Prime Minister's Prizes for Science. Congratulations on this prestigious and much-deserved recognition of the work you do to advance science in Australia, and in so doing, to advance our nation. It's great to see our parliamentary representatives and our many distinguished guests from the research and innovation sector. Before I invite Minister Husic to the lectern, I'd like to take this opportunity to share a few brief words about the winner of the PM's Prize for Science, Academy Fellow Matthew Bales. All of the Prime Minister's Prize recipients are exceptional. Please join me first to congratulate all of them for the great job they have done in terms of doing their excellent science and also being recognized. But I pause to offer a few words about Matthew following my visit to his laboratory at Swinburne University in August this year. We have heard much about Matthew's work in astrophysics and his study of pulsars, radio bursts, and gravitational waves. Seeing Matthew in action at Swinburne University during my visit to engage with the Academy's Victorian Fellows tells you all you need to know about Matthew. Matthew, in fact, has arrived that morning from US and a bit jet-lagged, but he was excited about meeting us. And Matthew could have sought to impress me with the physics of gravitational waves or radio bursts, and indeed he would have. Instead, he shared with me what was so obviously a point of much pride, his work to communicate astrophysics to young people, to inspire them, to nurture the next generation of scientists. For me, Matthew is as much a scientist as he is teacher and mentor. And the trio is a powerful combination. I toured the superconducting capability at Swinburne, the All-Star, and Nago-Tindenbeek supercomputers that produce groundbreaking research in areas ranging from space technology through to medical and environmental research. Nago-Tindenbeek translates knowledge of the void in the local Waivurung language and represents the goal of harnessing the power of a supercomputer to enable researchers to explain the unknown and push the boundaries of knowledge. In name, structure, and function, this world-class facility captures the essence of collaboration between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians in the field of astronomy. And it is clear we're all richer for sharing our knowledge systems and methodologies. And it was really music to many of our ears last night when the Prime Minister has announced that a new Prime Minister's Prize for Indigenous Knowledge will be awarded from next year onwards. I want to thank the Prime Minister and Minister Husick and the Department of Industry, Science and Resources for initiating this new prize. It's very timely and very, very essential to really acknowledge our colleagues, those who have been creating indigenous knowledge for the last 65,000 years or so. Please join me thanking the Prime Minister and the Minister and then the Department as well. Matthew also introduced me to the design team he has assembled to help translate his work so that it has meaning and inspires young people. It is not every day that you find graphic artists in an astrophysics research lab, but the benefits are clear. He was the first to make a 3D IMAX film about space. And he built a tool that is best described as Uber PowerPoint for astrophysicists. It allows scientists to present their research results in 3D. It had spatial and temporal elements and turns equations into images. I felt like I was touring the universe. I could go on, but I think you get the picture. For me, it was abundantly clear that Matthew's desire and efforts to communicate, educate, and inspire permeate in all of his work and elevate it to another level. I conclude my remarks today by offering my personal thanks and congratulations to the Prime Minister's Prize for Excellence in Science Teaching in Primary Schools, Daniel Edwards, and to Prime Minister's Prize for Excellence in Science Teaching in Secondary Schools, Alice Lung. And in fact, of course, it's always inspiring to listen to the speeches of the scientists and the prize winners, but science teachers' speeches are really, really touching, and many of us were teary-eyed when we listen to those speeches. It's wonderful. We owe you a debt of gratitude. I said it last year, I will say it again, and I'll imagine I will repeat it every year. Teachers change lives. My maths teacher, my high school maths teacher, changed my life by hosting me at his home for 3 years because there was no high school in my village, and then I'm so grateful to my maths teacher. Without him, today I'll be plowing the fields in India along with my cousins. I'm so grateful to two of my high school teachers that really tells you personal impact they had on me. And of course, many of us in the room can probably relate to many teachers, what impact they've had on them. Teachers change lives, as I said. They do more than deliver education. They are clearly role models for our scientists and innovators. And I wish to personally thank each and every one of them, those who are participating here, those who are across the country, really making the difference to our nation and inspiring our next generation, together with the school communities that support them as well. The Academy recently launched its Reimagining Primary Science and Maths Education Resources for Teachers, Primary Connections, and Resolve. They exemplify everything that our Academy stands for. They're rigorous, evidence-based, built on pedagogical best practice, co-designed with teachers, and responsive to the modern-day classroom. The Academy's work in supporting science and maths educators dates back to 1967, and I'm proud that today we continue to meet the needs of the teachers and to enable evidence-based science and maths education across the nation. It is our teachers that plant and nurture curiosity, exploration, and critical thinking. It is our teachers who have shaped the winners of all the Prime Minister's Science Prizes, the innovation team, the new inventors, the life scientists, and the physical scientists. It is our teachers who have gifted us scientists who will imagine, discover, and deliver jobs and industries that diversify our economy. Scientists who will generate knowledge, create new industries, and drive productivity. Scientists who will strengthen national security and find solutions to decarbonize our world as rapidly as possible. Scientists who will build a nation that is more self-reliant, confident, and able to navigate these uncertain times. And again, it was a music to us, Minister, that last night's Prime Minister's announcements, teachers' prizes, will be increased to $250,000. That's a wonderful news. They very richly deserve this recognition from the government. Again, please join me thanking the Minister and the Prime Minister and the Department for doing this. And as scientists, when we go about these tasks, we know we must maintain the fragile and critical contract we have with society, everyday Australians whose jobs and livelihoods are impacted by our work. I conclude my remarks here. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Minister for Industry and Science, the Honourable Hed Husic, champions for science and technology in the country.
Thank you, friends. I want to begin by acknowledging we're on the lands of the Ngunnawal. I want to pay them the greatest respect for their care and custodianship of the lands on which we meet. Extend my respect to elders past and present, and to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders that are with us today as well. I want to extend that respect. If I can, I know there are a lot of people here. I just want to acknowledge Melissa Price, who's representing the Leader of the Opposition. To my colleagues who I think we're all probably going to be stepping out relatively early, but I think Zanita and Alison and myself will probably have to leave because we've got to go into Parliament sitting a little bit earlier with the Prime Minister off today, and we're having an early question time. So so you'll have to forgive me that I can't stay as long as I would like. I just want to very quickly remark, Jagadish, thank you very much for those words, and to Jenny as well. Great to see you again, and also congratulations on your recognition, or the recognition conferred on you this year with the 70th year of the Academy. It was tremendous to see you and your colleagues all equally represented. For my part, obviously I just want to emphasise a few things. First, 25 years of the Science Prize is a big deal. I think it's a terrific thing that regardless, politicians can always find a reason to fight and argue and bicker. You see that on our screens every day. But the fact that, regardless of political hue, we've maintained these prizes, very important. We do need to continue to elevate and emphasise the value of science. Could we do more? I absolutely agree, and we can do that in a lot of a lot of ways. Part of it is too thinking long term about the investment we make in science. One of my big motivations in pressing for the strategic review into R&D is to set a sustainable long-term path for the way we support science and research in this country, and we'll be releasing some details about that very shortly. But I would say that exercise of itself will be, I would humbly put it, which is a bit of a weird thing coming out of the mouth of a politician, that this is one of the foundational steps we need to take. I don't want us to be doing piecemeal, knee-jerk approaches to funding. We need to think seriously about what we're doing on research and development in this country, given that our international performance is not anything to brag about, quite frankly. And when I say to people that we need to emphasise the value of Australian ideas, have faith in our capacity, in our thinking, part of it is around the decision-making that goes into whether or not we back what comes out of science in this country, or the work that needs to be done in basic research. So these are very important issues if we are to be serious about the contribution of science into the long term and what that means for our economy. And if I may say, not measuring everything through the lens of commercial, business, economic. I did last night reflect on the impact it has on the quality of life of Australians, but also fellow citizens around the world as well. So 25 years of recognition, really important. The issue, Jagadish, your story, your personal story, in terms of your maths teacher taking you in and training you up for the period of time that they did, and the way that that had bent the arc of your own personal trajectory and achievements in life, is really important. It speaks to deeply the care that is given by teachers, and as the chief scientist, I quoted her words, the way that they inspire someone, particularly younger generations, to look at old problems with new eyes and come up with different solutions is really important. It's why we wanted to make the investment that we did in lifting the prize. I was a bit worried when you were recounting your story that the recipients of this year's prize would be thinking that we're going to gear up for a 3-year Airbnb for their students at their place. They're not. You do not have to follow Jagadish's teacher, and it's not the reason we upped the prize money. But it does speak to, particularly in different parts of the world, and coming from a migrant background myself, our parents, who may not have gone on even to the senior years of high school, always understood the liberating power of education and the way in which it could change lives. And so that speaks to something, and teachers have a big role to play in that. And so that was an important measure. The final thing I just wanted to talk about is our emphasis on Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander knowledge systems. There had been a view that had set in place, in the earliest days of colonisation, that the approach to innovation and knowledge in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities was static, unchanging, and that there was no desire or thirst for knowledge in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. Thankfully, there's been a lot of work from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities, anthropologists together, that go back and chart exactly why that is a falsehood. And the fact that there was a great degree of adaptability, resourcefulness, resilience built up over 65 years of living on the toughest continent on the planet, and that we can learn from that. From land management to being able to transform the toxicity of plants and creating staple foods, aquaculture, the movement of the planets, the observance of seasonal changes, the way that was all done within various Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. We do need to, in part, through what we've done with the National Science and Research Priorities, and obviously one step that we've taken in terms of the award that we're going to set up in the PM's Science Prizes, in particular for knowledge systems. This is in part to recognise we always can learn something from other people, and that we should be able to take what has been developed through experience and has been basically communicated across the generations through songlines, and the ability, particularly cross-culturally, to pick up what has been learnt and discovered and twine that with Western science, and to be able to achieve something different is really important. We, in many respects, I view it, as I've said in my remarks last night, this is a small historical correction. I don't want to overemphasise it, but it is a down payment to that historical correction. We've done that in time by many people contributing, but I would hope that it would be seen as a small down payment. And I would also make, if I could, make this remark. You know, sometimes people think, well, this is there will be some ears that this is hard to hear, those words, and that they take it the wrong way. Why am I being made to feel guilty about what's happened in the past? It's not about that. This is a moment to recognise our thinking has changed. It has evolved over time, as it always does. And it is an opportunity to go, okay, if this moment is here, what can we do with that moment? That's what I'm trying to in particular, leave an impression in your minds about what we are trying to do, from the priorities through to the prize, and what we do next is really important. So I was grateful. Thank you very much, Jagadish, for your reference to that. Anyhow, I'll wind up on just, again, expressing my profound gratitude for your work. I do recognise that it is a big challenge in many instances to keep pursuing a notion, an idea, trying to test whether or not your thought or your belief in something that you are doing will turn out the way that you think it will, and the impact that it does. It's a lonely journey, and it is a hard task, and it does put pressure on your confidence. And I think as much as science values the rational, there is something very human about the pursuit, and the fact that you have to be stubborn and determined to continue in the face of doubts. And I do admire that greatly, and want to thank you, because in the absence of that, we may not be where we are, because the ability to achieve what you've wanted to has made a difference in people's lives. So I do thank you very much for what you do. The awards give us a great platform to recognise that. I want to thank the Academy for today, and if you don't mind, I'd like to thank the Department of Industry, Science and Resources for the tremendous work they do in putting the awards on with the care and commitment that they do. So with that, thank you very much, friends, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Minister Husick, for your words. And if I can just go off script for a moment and remark what a wonderful event the Prime Minister's Prize dinner is last night. I think we all feel that science is valued after all. And I recollect 7 years ago when I won the Prime Minister's Prize, I had invited a very influential American scientist, and he was so impressed. And he said, "You Aussies really love science," he said. But then I took him to question time next day. But I want to thank the Minister for... I want to thank the Minister for his efforts in making science valued, not just one day of the year, but every day of the year. So it's now my great pleasure to announce the presentation of certificates for the 2024 Prime Minister's Prize for Science. Firstly, the 2024 recipients of the Prime Minister's Prize for Science, Fellow of the Australian Academy of Science, Professor Matthew Bales from Swinburne University of Technology. Professor Bales is recognised for his world-first discovery of fast radio bursts, which are helping to determine how much normal matter exists in the universe, and for his leadership of the Australian Astronomy Research Centres. Congratulations, Matthew. The next prize is the 2024 Prime Minister's Prize for Innovation. This year, the prize was awarded to Dr. Christopher Burns and Academy Fellow Professor Andrew Wilkes. Professor Wilkes and Dr. Burns are recognised for inventing and commercialising a drug called Momentotinib. I don't know how they get these names, that is used to treat myelofibrosis, a rare form of blood cancer. Congratulations. Momolo, thank you. Congratulations, Andrew and Christopher. The next prize is the Malcolm McIntosh Prize for Physical Scientists of the Year. Please welcome the 2024 recipient, Distinguished Professor Tianyi Ma from RMIT. Professor Ma is recognised for groundbreaking work in renewable energy, which could support Australia in its clean energy transition and the path to net zero. Congratulations, Tianyi. I would now like to call the recipient of the 2024 Frank Fenner Prize for Life Scientists of the Year to the stage to accept their award, Professor Britta Regli von Ungen-Sternberg from Perth Children's Hospital and the University of Western Australia. Britta is recognised for her life-changing research into reducing risks associated with anaesthesia for children to make surgery and recovery safer. Congratulations, Britta. The next prize is the 2024 Prize for New Innovators. This year, the recipient is Dr. Andrew Horsley from Quantum Brilliance. Dr. Horsley is recognised for his groundbreaking innovations towards making quantum computing an everyday technology, unlocking a range of potential new applications of the field in Australia and abroad. Congratulations, Andrew. We now move on to the 2024 Prime Minister's Prize for Excellence in Science Teaching. The recipient of the Prize for Excellence in Science Teaching in Primary Schools is Daniel Edwards from Montello Primary School in Tasmania. Daniel is recognised for creating unique opportunities for students of all abilities and backgrounds to overcome challenges, engage with STEM subjects and consider a career in science. Congratulations, Daniel, and thank you for all you do to inspire the next generation of scientists. Your role is critical to our future. Our final prize is the 2024 Prime Minister's Prize for Excellence in Science Teaching in Secondary Schools. Please welcome the recipient, Alice Leung from Concord High School in New South Wales. Alice is recognised for her creative teaching strategies to equip students from diverse backgrounds with STEM knowledge and skills for the future. Congratulations, Alice, and thank you for all you do to shepherd those curious minds through our education system. Thank you, Minister and President Jagadish, and congratulations once again to all the recipients. This year, the Prime Minister's Prize for Science celebrates 25 years of acknowledgement of the incredible work of Australian scientists and innovators who have contributed to better outcomes in Australia and globally. Now, before we head to breakfast, I'd like to draw your attention to the screen for a short video.
The The Prime Minister's Prize for Science is open to all Australians.
Each winner receives a commemorative certificate. This award highlights the importance of science and innovation to the nation's prosperity.
I'm incredibly lucky. I absolutely love what I do, and I literally bounce out of bed every day to get to work. I can't tell you how grateful I am to be here today, and thank you for this award.
I hate the use of work related to school. It's not work. It shouldn't be work. It should be just fun.
To be recognised is not about me. It's about my students, showcasing the First Nations culture and preparing them for their future.
It is so important that we acknowledge and promote our good science teachers because they are the future for science.
This award recognises the team.
The team.
Without them, I simply wouldn't be standing here this evening.
I feel so lucky to have moved to Australia, a beautiful country with such rich resources.
Occasions such as this gives us the opportunity to stand back and marvel at some of the amazing work being done by others.
I feel truly honoured.
I'm incredibly honoured.
We are extremely honoured.
I'm incredibly humbled.
It's really the greatest honour. I know I'll speak for many engineers and scientists when I say how glad I am that innovation is to be recognised by such a prestigious award.
Really sends a message that innovation in Australia is having an impact on a global level.
It's very interesting to start with something where we know very little about it and then discover lots of really new, interesting things.
Well, on behalf of the Department of Industry, Science and Resources, I'd like to draw your attention to the nominations for the 2025 Prime Minister's Prizes for Science. Nominating a science innovator or teacher for the prize acknowledges their contribution to science, innovation and teaching. It is vitally important that we nominate, and not only nominate, but draw candidates from the diverse and rich populations we have in Australia. That now brings us to the end of the formalities. We invite all the prize recipients to please meet in the main foyer for a group photo. And do it quickly. I missed last night's group photo. Thank you all for being here to celebrate with us this morning, and thank you all to our online audience. I now invite you all to enjoy breakfast being served in the Jager room just around the corner. Thank you.